Man, honestly, man, when I remember one day I was leaving, it was like a Thursday or Friday. I was walking out, probably like 16, 17, and Les Miles called me. And I was like, man, like this is the head coach of LSU. He's calling me. I'm like, what in the world? To the phone, and they offered me a scholarship, and I was just like, dang, like LSU, like
Right.
this one of the top programs, man. This man Les Miles took some time to call me, and so uh,
What's going on, peeps? Welcome back to Brick City. It's your boy, the real Charlemagne. Hey, it's been a little while, but I'm back. I'm back. Hey, today we got a special guest, former NC State superstar. And like, I'm gonna put him on the map. I'm gonna add a superstar to him. He a humble
uh,
dude. Played in the Canadian Football League for 2 years. Hey, Mr. McGirt, what's going on, man? How you doing?
good man, good man. How you doing? Appreciate the introduction. Superstar. I wouldn't say all that, but I wouldn't say all that. Being a former athlete, just looking to hop on, have the
Yeah,
conversation. So thank you for
yeah.
having me.
That's good, man. Hey, look, so look, we met at Planet Fitness, man. I saw you had on your old team up there, and look, my hometown homeboy used to play for that team. You know what I'm saying? So
Happy to
I
help.
was like,
Yeah,
Eric Blunt. He was like, oh, that dude, you know him, Eric Blunt. I was like, yeah. He was like, oh man, that's crazy. So yeah,
yeah.
but let's start at the beginning, man. How you get into football?
No, for sure. Yeah, I've been playing man since I was in about third, fourth grade. Used to play for the Bull City Lions. It was just my parents always kind of put me in a whole bunch of sports. Man, I played everything: baseball, football, basketball,
Okay.
just everything growing up. And played played in elementary school, kind of played in middle school a little bit. And then when I got to high school, was honestly, I thought I was going to be a basketball player to be honest. But
Okay.
when I got to 10th grade and I went to this AAU tournament, the Peach Jam, it's this Nike tournament.
Mhm.
That's when I realized I wasn't going to go to Duke to play basketball. I was doing that early. It was
Hey, what?
windmilling and
Hey, look, well, hold on. Let's pause right there. What happened to make you realize basketball wasn't your sport?
man, I was 14 years old and I was barely throwing down one hand, and these other guys is windmilling and catching stuff off the backboard. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, 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 okay.
that's when I kind of pivoted, and I was also getting recruited for football. Like I said, I wasn't. I mean, I played, and I was always pretty good. I was one of the bigger guys, but I wasn't too serious about it until in 10th grade when I was okay. Maybe I could do this long term, and was kind of hearing maybe I was decent and was getting recruited, and so I kind of shifted my focus towards football.
Okay.
Probably the second half of high school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What high school did you attend?
Went to Hillside in Durham. Hillside High School.
Durham, North Carolina. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's what's up. Well, yeah, y'all, I kept up with y'all. Y'all was pretty good squad.
No, yeah, we was definitely decent with that. They won the state championship the year before I got there, and then
Uh-huh.
every year I was there, we either made it to the semifinals or the quarterfinals or something. We was always pretty close, so we was always definitely one of the top programs in the state for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, as we always talk in the gym, I said, just let's talk about your recruiting process for a minute. Like you said you got serious about it in the 10th grade, and then, you start getting offers, people start looking. How was that recruiting process for you and your family during that time? And then how did you decide on locking down NC State as a school you want to go to?
No, for sure, man. At first, the recruiting process was kind of slow, man. I was about, like I said, I played basketball, so I was 10th grade, man. I was like 225, 230,
Mm-hmm.
play offensive tackle. So I mean, I was definitely getting, people would turn to the film like, wow, this guy's pretty good. But then I would step on the scale and they'd be like, he's small.
Right.
And so the recruiting process was slow at first, but then I kind of put on some weight and kind of went to these camps. And man, it just went from 0 to 100. And I really started getting a lot of offers really the beginning of 11th grade. That's
Mm-hmm.
when it sped up. And then towards the end of, or towards the beginning of 12th grade, man, I was choosing between, Georgia and LSU and NC State and then
Mm-hmm.
USC, and went on an official visit to Georgia. Had a great time. Went to visit LSU, and then my mom actually has MS, multiple sclerosis, and so
Okay.
when I figured that out, it's kind of like, man, I kind of just want to stay close to home, and
Okay.
so
Okay. Right.
So I ended up just going to NC State. It was 10 minutes up the road, man, and
Yeah.
it just made sense for me. Um, as far as family, just being close, and then I also wanted to be a vet. NC State had a good vet school, so I was
Yeah.
just my mind was all over the place, but I ended up
Right.
choosing
Right.
to go
Right.
choosing to go to NC State. So yeah.
Yeah. So when was that? As a kid, and like you said, you was going to you was thinking about basketball, and then you get a letter. Which letter did you receive, or which offer did you receive? Was like an odd moment, like wow, people really. I'm that dude for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That kind of gas you up. Which
Yeah.
which school was that that kind of gas you up for a little bit?
Uh, man, honestly, man, when I remember one day I was leaving, it was like a Thursday or Friday. I was walking out, probably 16, 17, and Les Miles called me. And I was like, man, like this is the head coach of LSU. He's calling me. I'm like, what in the world? To the phone, and they offered me a scholarship, and I was just like, dang, like LSU, like
Right.
this one of the top programs, man. This man Les Miles took some time to call me, and so honestly, man, just kind of going through the process and just meeting, some of these big names,
Yeah.
and Mark Rick, and
Hmm.
going to his house and stuff like that, and just hearing these, like I said, these big household names calling your phone was kind of like, dang, this is crazy.
Yeah. I can imagine as a kid, man. But like I said, man. I mean, I like it's you very humble young man. So I know it didn't bother you. You just like, hey, I still got to stay the course, and I could tell you got a good foundation at home. To
No,
keep
for
you
sure. Yeah.
keep you grounded.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. I definitely have moments where I was on my high horse for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
he's 16 years old. I think that's one thing that's not really discussed in recruiting, and even with the NIL stuff, is these kids, especially now, even more so than when I was in high school,
Right.
are kind of on these high horses, So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
important to stay humble and
Hmm.
have that humility.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
important
yeah, 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 yeah.
for
Now
long term success.
now let's push forward to NC State. How was that first day of what do you call it, training camp? When you first get to NC State, when you transition from high school to D1,
Yeah,
and at
no,
that
it's
level,
it's
how was
it's
that?
a it's a big transition, especially for the linemen. I think that's something that's not talked about, man. I got on there my first day of practice, man. I was going against Bradley Chubb, the defensive end for the Dolphins.
Okay.
So I was going against him, man. And he was with my ass every day. And I'm just like, dang, man. Like, I'm so used to just throwing people
Dominating,
around, and
right?
just being. It's easy out there. You get to college, man. It's just a whole nother speed, man. You got to know
Yeah,
stuff mentally, and then physically, you also got to be strong enough to withstand.
yeah.
So it was
Now,
definitely a process.
what was your size when you when you started college? Because I know they put weight on you.
Yeah, yeah,
They put size
about
on you.
two, yeah, like 275, 280.
Well,
Wasn't
okay.
that?
And how tall are you,
Yeah,
man? You like 6'4", 6'5"?
about 6'5", 6'6", about
Yeah,
6'5".
6'5", 6'6". Okay. Yeah, and cause like I said, man, I saw you in the gym. I was like, this is a big dude. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
like, but so that was a humbling experience to you because you the man for a while, then you get to college and you like, yo, I ain't the man no more. So you
No,
gotta,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So how did that make you feel? And did it want to make you work harder, or did you just like, yo, man, I don't know if I could do this? Which one was it?
No, well, I mean, honestly, a little bit of both. I mean, honestly, I'm a competitor, so when I got there, man, I was like, I'm just as good as y'all. Honestly, I showed that on film in some
Hmm.
capacities, but man, honestly, my redshirt freshman season, I was supposed to be a starter, and
Hmm.
I was like on the cover of this magazine, and I was like preseason freshman All ACC. It was offensive newcomer of the year, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And going into that season, I actually messed up my knee and missed that whole
Uh,
year.
wow.
And
Okay.
so honestly, coming off injuries was really when I kind of lost that faith in myself, and that's when
Hmm.
things was like this, and they kind of were like this. So
Got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
I
interesting.
feel you. Yeah, man. That's dope. So, look, the Senate, who was your toughest opponent while you was at NC State? Let's talk about that. When you
As
was
far as a
playing,
team or like a player,
as far as the player you played against, who was the toughest opponent you
yeah,
played against?
I would say the defensive end from Wake Forest. I can't hold on one second.
Hmm. Yeah, well, look, while he's looking that up, look, we'll keep it going. Then he had a phone call come in. Look, he's a busy man. But I appreciate you guys listening. Here you go. You
You
go
can
back
you go
there.
back, I'm back, I'm back,
Back
I'm
there.
back. But
Okay.
yeah, had a little small difficulty there. But no, yeah, I would say the defensive end from Wake Forest. I honestly can't remember his first name. His last name is Bashim,
Hmm.
number 9. I think he plays for the Bills now.
Uh-huh.
But I would say either him or I got to go with the hometown team here. Obviously, NC State. We have 4 defensive linemen, man, that got drafted in 2018. And all those guys were hard to go against. B.J. Hill, he starts for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Chubb, he starts for the Dolphins, and then Justin, he starts for the Bears.
Right.
Street plays. I think Street's going through free agency right now. But he played for the Saints. He started last year, so
Yeah, because he
every
from
day
here,
he's
right?
going to get.
He from Greenville, right? Street.
Yeah. Contavious Street's from
Yeah, he
Greenville.
from
Yeah.
Jay's Rose. I remember when he moved here, man, and I was like, this kid a monster.
Man.
When he was in high school, I started following him then. I was like, yo, he the real deal.
Like,
So
he's legit. So yeah, I would say honestly, man, just going against those 4 guys every day, man, was
yeah, made
was
you
was.
better.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it was like game day every day. Our coach
cool.
would say that. My old offensive line coach is now the offensive line coach for the Falcons,
Okay,
Dwayne Leffert.
okay.
And man, he used to say every day during training camp is like game day. Like we're going against the best, the best defensive line in the country, and so that was game day
Wow.
every day in practice. So
Yeah. That's wild, man. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you hung with it. So transitioning, you were NC State, you're doing well. So senior year, we talked about that. COVID kind of hit during the transition of your senior year, correct?
yeah, it did, yeah, it did, yeah,
And I know you missed out on some some senior days and things like pro days and stuff like that due to the
yeah.
pandemic. So, as far as that, did that kind of put a damper on you? Be like, man, I missed my opportunity to go to the NFL, or did you just say, hey, I'm gonna continue to try to play CFL or another league? How did that work? How did that feel for you, and how did you transition to go to the CFL?
No, for sure, man. I feel like all athletes in 2020, man, went through like that mental fog of just like, what do
Hmm.
I do? Like, what's
Hmm.
going on? What's next? And
Right.
it was difficult, man. Like, 'cause, normally when you get done with your senior season, you know, some seniors play in the All-Star game. They got like 5 All-Star games. I played in one of them. And then I did that and I came back and was training. And then, in March, they said, the gyms are closed down. Then they stopped pro day and stuff like that. And then after the draft, I mean, I had got a few calls, but not like, a lot
Yeah.
of calls. I got like 3 calls from 3 teams.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, man, after the draft, or before the draft, I got a call from the Browns and they was potentially saying, you might get signed as a priority free agent at
Hmm.
the end of the draft. And the last day came, I didn't get a call, and I
Gotcha.
was like, "Dang, man," And honestly, I wasn't really surprised because I didn't have a pro day, and I had a whole bunch of injuries in college, man. I knew that, and
Gotcha.
I knew that pro day was going to be big for me.
Hmm.
So the next day, a scout from the Browns reached out to me and told me essentially if they have the rookie mini camps,
Hmm.
I'm extended an invitation. And then 2 weeks later, the NFL came out and said no camps, no rookie mini
Oh
camps, no nothing.
man. Wow.
And so,
Wow.
so I was just like, dang, man. So now, that one opportunity was kind of squandered away, and so
Yeah.
just moved home, moved to Greenville.
Hmm.
Was just working out, man, and the gym wasn't even open in Greenville, man. I was
Right.
working out in the backyard.
Wow. Okay.
I was pushing trucks and doing air squats. I was doing push ups with the band, just finding ways
Yeah. Yeah, to stay in shape,
to
right?
stay strong, to stay in shape. Was
Yeah,
running
yeah.
stuff like that, and so
Okay.
had an opportunity the next year, 2021. Honestly, I was done with football. I was like, man, I waited a year.
Hmm.
Still didn't. Nothing really shook. The CFL got canceled that season, so it was only
Right.
just the NFL.
Hmm.
And then there's this thing called the Spring League, which is like a developmental league
Okay.
with the NFL and the CFL. And I actually got invited to play in it. Decided not to do it. Then the last game, the coach called me and was like, man, look, this guy got hurt, yada yada yada. We need somebody to come in and play this last game. So I
Hmm.
actually flew to Indianapolis. I played this last game in the Spring League.
Wow.
And did fairly well. And
Hmm.
then, man, 3 weeks later, got a call from Canada.
Wow.
Like, man, we wanna get you on the team, and so that's how
Okay.
it happened.
Okay. You can, you transition from college, now you go into the pros, what did that look like, as far as competitiveness and, just from a standpoint, you're going for college, now you're dealing with grown men that's been in the league for a little while, and all this other stuff. Because it's I tell people all the time. I said football is competitive. Once you consider a pro, you're a pro. You know what I'm saying? So no
Oh
matter
no, facts.
NFL, CFL, XFL, whatever, you're a professional. You know what I'm saying? So how was that transition?
No, I mean it was solid. I think a lot of times people, they think, the NFL, obviously the NFL is, the height of football.
Yeah,
It's the best you can get.
right.
But, like you said, man, if you're a professional, you're a professional. Some of those guys are getting paid, decent money, they're feeding their families. And so it's
Yeah.
competitive. Like the guys up there are somewhat just as good as some of the guys in the NFL. A lot of the guys on the team, played in the NFL. We had guys on our team who were, first round draft picks. We had a guy named
Mm-hmm.
Matt Elam, who was a first round pick out of Florida. Our
Wow.
backup quarterback was Cardale Jones, the quarterback from Ohio State. And so,
Okay.
there were guys on the team, who were
Yeah.
in the NFL. And so the competitive level, the competitiveness is definitely there. It's some solid players, man. And so if you go out there, you better be ready. Got to be ready, in any aspect, whether it's XFL, USFL, CFL, all
Yeah.
those guys are trying to get to the league. And so,
Yeah. 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 So what does it look like? As far as I know, we talked about contracts, things of that nature. So when you signed your name on a dotted line and got that contract, how did that make you feel?
I feel good, man, but I feel like it just wasn't enough. I
Uh-huh.
wanted something. It kind of kept me hungry and
Hmm.
hungry for more, I guess. And so
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
got the contract, I was definitely happy that it's in some ways my hard work paid off.
Hmm.
But I still wanted more. And so
Yeah.
I felt good about it. But it was kind of like almost like a motivating factor for me, kind of motivate
Got
me
you.
more.
Got you. Got you. Got you. So you had a stint. I know. We talked about injuries. So how did that affect your stint in the CFL with the injuries and things of that nature?
Yeah. Honestly, man, I was good, man. I did well. The first year I was there, I was on the practice squad. I got put up for a few games, and then
Hmm.
Um, the second year, man, came back, went through training camp, played through the first few games.
Hmm.
I just got hurt. I got hurt in the game on a bull rush.
Oh wow.
It's funny. We were playing Calgary, and I
Okay.
threw this guy down, this defensive end, and the next play, man, I feel like he didn't even care about the play. He just was just focused on
Trying to put you
trying to run
out.
me over. Yeah,
Wow.
so got bull rush, and it was a routine play, and then I didn't even fall nothing like that. And I
Yeah.
was straight.
Yeah.
And then like 20 seconds later, my back just started hurting, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ended up having a herniated disc. So
Oh man. Dang.
yeah.
Yeah, man. That's tough when the back is a serious thing, man. People don't understand that back, boy.
Oh
They
yeah.
control
I didn't
everything.
understand either, man. I couldn't use the bathroom, couldn't sleep. Oh, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
That back is something serious, man. But so I know how did that affect you? You like, I, we've been talking about it, here and there, he's like, well, do I go back, because of injuries, what I'm saying, or do I just play? I'm just gonna hang it up. What's your mindset now as far as football?
I mean, just honestly, risk reward, opportunity cost. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
What is it really worth it? One of my homeboys, went out to the XFL and he just tore his Achilles. He's 28. You know,
Wow.
that's not an ideal injury to
Right.
have, at 28. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of, a matter of opportunity cost. I mean, obviously, football is an amazing sport that's provided a lot of opportunities
Hmm.
for, thousands of people. But, you have to kind of assess where you are in life, where
Yeah.
you are in life and, your goals. And, NFL, not saying it still can happen, and obviously, if the team called me right now, I think I would go.
Yeah.
But that's as far as the XFL or the USFL. But, you kind of got to look at the opportunity cost to kind of see if it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Worth.
And for
Yeah.
me right now, I don't know
Uh-huh.
if going back to Canada is worth my health. You know.
Right, right, right. I understand. I understand. But like you said, when you start getting older, man, them injuries, but they nag you and ag you. And
Yeah, yeah.
and look, you be seeing
I
me
already
walking, man.
know.
I'd be like, look, dragging that leg sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah,
but it is what it is, man. But you know, I and like I said, I understand. Some people like, man, you should continue to live your dream. But like you said, You already lived your dream per se, you know what I'm saying, in the scheme
Yeah,
of things. So like you said, now it makes sense. It got to make sense for you to go back and put your body on the line, you know. And I tell people about athletes, man. When my son went to college, it was like I got a whole different perspective because I'm seeing it firsthand. In all the work you guys got to put in as college athletes.
yeah,
And you know, people when they talk about the NIL, things like that, like, well, they get a free education. I said the education is not free because you working. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah,
It's a full
like your
time job. Yeah,
yeah, your day is from look, I know his day was from like 8 to 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Between practice and school
I
and
saw a study that said
yeah.
student athletes donate, or I guess put in 43 hours a week towards their sport. And
Wow.
that's more than a 40-hour work week. So you talking
Right.
about 43 hours towards your sport plus
School.
trying to trying to be a student, and then on top of that trying to have a social life. It's a lot of balance.
Yeah, and that's what I said, man. I said some people they just be like, man, the heck with it, I'm done.
No, yeah, yeah. And it's funny because a lot of people think, at least from a football standpoint, a lot of people think, the athletes are just, out every day and
Yeah,
having fun all the time. Man, when I was in college, I rarely went out because
yeah,
I was either busy or tired.
right.
So it wasn't
And,
really
like,
do much else.
and that's how it was with him, man. You know, he'd be like, yo, like on Friday, if they had a game the next day, they coach would put him in a hotel, even if it was a home game, they put him, lock him down so they
No,
wouldn't
yeah,
go
yeah.
out and do nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or, so they'll get some rest and get adequate rest for the next day. So they won't have any, outside
Distractions.
distractions. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's crazy. So what? So you brought up the NIL. How you feel about the NIL now? Like I know, you missed that calling. You know what I'm saying? Your timing was off a little bit. How do you feel about the NIL now?
No, man, I think it's good. I think it's good that athletes are getting paid. And I think that maybe they could go back and pay the athletes that didn't get paid. Like, give
Like,
us a little something on the back end. But no, I think it's a great thing, man. I think that there should be some regulations though,
mhm,
as far as not a cap on how much they can make, but a cap on how much they have access to in college.
right.
In my opinion, just because
Hmm.
it's I don't know if I was 18 and I got $500,000, I don't think I would have done well with it.
Right, right.
I think things
I
would have
mean,
went
yeah.
left for me.
I mean, that's just being real. You
Yeah,
get access to that kind of money, especially depending on your upbringing. You know what I'm saying? That's like wow. But like you said, I definitely agree with you on that. It should be some type of trust or something set up where you can only have access to this per year, and then the rest of it,
yeah,
if something happened to you, then hey, you set over here, for a little while. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Yeah, because I look
Also,
at
also
some.
think the NCAA should have, or schools in general should have done a better job of putting out financial education first before giving people this big lump sums of money.
Yeah, and
It's
you know
almost
what?
like these kids hitting the lottery.
Yeah, look, that's what I was about to go next. Next to you. Look, I ain't asked no names, but you was talking about how some players that in the NFL are still struggling. You know what I'm saying? They still kind of,
Yeah,
so what do you think should be in place to help that transition? From even from high school to college, then especially now because they get paid, they get the NIL, but especially from college to the pros, what do you feel should be in place in college for everyone that possibly could transition to the NFL or to the pro circuit? In any sport, what do you feel should be in place?
well, from a football standpoint, because I can't really speak on all sports, but I would say
Hmm.
from a football standpoint, I mean, most freshmen get there in the summer before training camp. So,
Hmm.
I mean, guys are on campus. They graduate in May or June. They on campus in June. So
Hmm.
I think as soon as athletes get on campus, man, before anything, they need to check their health and also their financial health
Hmm.
because two different things. And so I think there needs to be a class in place, like a mandatory class where like athletes get like almost like a certificate, saying I went through
Hmm.
this financial education course and I know, about taxes, about rent, um, about how to save my money, about how to invest my money,
Hmm.
liquid assets versus investing, just things like that. I think this is important that athletes need to
Hmm.
know, what money is before they get it. because I think this the NIL went kind of backwards. They gave the money, and now they're trying to backtrack and
Yeah.
say, well, here's these regulations, and here's this financial education. When they should have put the regulations and education up front, and then gave, yeah.
Got you. Yeah, that, like you said, it's like the chicken before the egg type thing. You know what I'm saying? Which, which one came first, and then, like you said, you give them the reward first, and then tell them, say, hey, don't you can't do this, don't do that, with the reward. And I'm like, that's not fair to the kid. But like you said, you 18, some kids 17 to graduate early and getting that kind of money, man. Like
Well,
there's one
I
kid.
think what these people aren't thinking about either, though, is the fact that you got 18-year-olds who, I mean, not only are they getting big lump sums of money, but they're becoming like the breadwinners of their family. And the pressure that comes with that. I can imagine. I'm 18, 500K. My mama made 30K, and I gotta give her this, give her that. My cousin gotta give him this, give him that.
Look, I didn't even look at it from that standpoint, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's you know what
I
I'm
can
saying.
imagine 18, man. People ask like
Yeah.
somebody 50 asks me for money. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but that's something definitely to think about, man. Because like you said, you instantly become, the breadwinner of your family, and then like you said, it depends on your family financial situation, and probably 9 times out of 10, the situation ain't that great. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, for sure. Especially with the football athletes, sadly.
Yeah. Now, let's shift a little bit. Transfer portal. How do you feel about that in the high school now?
No,
I mean,
yeah,
in college.
I think that's good too, but I think that it's good that they're kind of giving athletes autonomy and letting them decide, give them some agency, let them decide about their own path and careers. But it's funny. I saw a coach from Texas. Who's the head coach at Texas? Steve Sarkisian or something like
I don't even know right now, man. I don't remember his
that.
name.
I think he said something like in the interview. He was saying, if a player, um, enters the transfer portal, they can't come back to the school. And I'm just like, coaches will have a job at a school and
Mm-hmm.
recruit for that school while interviewing at another school to leave. And
Mm.
so my thing is, why y'all gonna hold these players to a standard that y'all hold the coaches to?
Right.
And so I think the transfer portal is a good thing, man. I think if I mean, obviously, if you're complaining and you're not putting in, the work to change the situation, that's one thing.
Right.
But if your situation is just not gonna work out, it's just not gonna work out. There's nothing wrong with leaving and finding a new home. There are plenty of guys, man, who transferred, and I've seen it who've done well. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Yeah. Okay. You think they should put a limit on it? You think they should put a limit on it? Or you think they should just let it leave wide open like it is now? As long as you got eligibility, you good.
No, I think there should be regulations on everything. So I
Yeah.
think there should be some regulations probably implemented. But I mean, I think it's a good thing. Like when I was a freshman in college, man, if you wanted to transfer to a school in your conference, you had to sit out 2 seasons, and you lost a year of eligibility.
Wow.
And now you can just transfer. You can NC State, you can go to UNC and play next year.
Yeah.
I think I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. But yeah, man. So we got a draft coming up. Wait, I was talking to some guys. I feel like it's an offensive heavy draft this year. How do you feel about that?
Now, I think the same thing too. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on the draft too. I want to hear about the top players, but no, I think every draft is quarterback driven.
Yeah.
Where the league is going. You see what these quarterbacks are getting paid, man. Like you want to
Hurts.
get the
Hey,
best quarterback.
hurts,
Yeah,
man. I'm like, God, 100 and what? 190 some guaranteed?
should have played
Man,
quarterback,
that's
man.
hey,
That's
Philly.
good.
Look, Philly wasn't playing no games with that. They was like, yo, we're gonna go on. We don't want no Lamar situation. We want you to go
Yeah.
ahead. Hey, you got our heart. So we gonna pay you.
No, yeah, man. I think a quarterback is man. A good quarterback is rare to find, man. Somebody who
Yeah.
can lead, and I think people who don't know the ins and outs of football don't understand like how much the quarterback has to know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they are smart people. Like if you play quarterback, you're a smart person, straight up.
For
You play
real.
quarterback, you're smart. You're a genius.
Okay,
Because you got
okay.
to memorize plays, you got to memorize checks, calls, you got to know what the offensive line doing, you got to know what the defense is going to do. If the defense give you a new look, you got to call a new play. You know what I'm saying? You got to know
Wow.
all that in 3 seconds. And so,
True,
if you're
true,
a
true.
quarterback, man, you're a smart person. So it's a
Yeah.
valuable position. It's the reason why they get paid all that money.
Right. And that's what I said. From the outside looking in, a lot of people don't understand athletes, and what it takes to be an athlete. And I'm like, they'd be like, oh, they get paid too much. But I'm like, you you have to stay in shape all the time for your
More so.
job. You know what I'm saying? You working at the hospital, you working somewhere. Hey, you could gain some weight and slow down, and your money gonna stay the same. An athlete,
Facts.
look, they slow down, gain some weight. It's possible they get cut.
Yeah, no, they'll replace you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So who you think I know the Panthers got the first pick, man. I know I heard they're looking at Young, but how you feel about that?
I don't know, man. It's tough. I mean, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are both really good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down to like who's going to take the job the most serious. Who's going to be that leader who can like
Hmm.
who's going to be able to come in at 22 and be able to tell 30-year-old men, follow me.
Right.
So you got to find a special dude to do that. And I
Right.
think both of them are special. So I mean, I think the Panthers can't go wrong, honestly, as far as like
Yeah.
from like a man perspective. As far as like talent, though, man, I think Bryce Young is the better player, though.
Okay.
Just because he faced better competition. I mean, Ohio
Yeah.
State still they play good guys, obviously,
Yeah.
but better competition. And honestly, if you turn on the film, man, if you turn on the film, Bryce Young had to make a lot of plays out of nothing, whereas
Hmm.
C.J. Stroud kind of um, it just seemed easier out there. He didn't have
Yeah.
no pressure in his face. He had a really, really good
Right.
offensive
Yeah.
line.
He
So
had a good little O line. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had a great line, so it was no
Yeah.
pressure. You get that lead, you
Yeah.
gotta be able to roll out and throw it on one leg.
Yeah.
And I seen Bryce Young do that like 1,000 times. So
So look, you being an old lineman, and I think Bright, what they got him listed like 5'11".
yeah,
Do you
like
think do
five.
you think that's an issue to, I mean, a quarterback at that level that having the height? Because you, like you said, you 6'5", 6'6", and you guys, like you said, even though you were in a squat position, you know, doing your blocking, do 5'11", he's still gonna have a little tough time seeing over you. How do you feel about
Oh,
a
yeah.
quarterback that's an average height, 5'11", like the Russell Wilson type quarterback? How do you feel about those quarterbacks?
I think you got to look at the history. I mean, I think the NFL and analysis and people like that, they always they stay on size and hand size and
Hmm.
height metrics and all this stuff, but you got to pull the numbers. I mean, I feel like yeah, he's definitely smaller, but you got to look at the successful quarterbacks that have been the same height as him.
Hmm.
Drew
Hmm.
Brees, Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
uh, Kyler Murray. Like there are
Yeah.
plenty of guys who aren't that tall that have done well in the NFL. So I mean, I think ideally you want somebody that's 6'4", 6'5" at quarterback. But I
Right.
mean, like I said, if it's hard to find a good QB, so I
Yeah.
think he'll be all right.
Think you'd be all right. Got you. So look, I know O line near and dear to your heart. Who's the top O lineman coming out this year
Man, I can't even remember that dude's name. Let me look him up real quick. It's the guy from
for Georgia?
Roderick.
Okay. Yeah, I think because he was a big boy. Georgia O line was huge.
Yeah, they it was since they had Broderick Jones. That's his name, Broderick
Roger
Jones.
Jones, yeah, you think
Broderick,
he
he's solid. Man. He's solid.
solid dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, Georgia got some dudes, man. Honestly, when I went on a visit, when I was thinking about going out of high school, man, there was some dudes on the squad then, and so just seeing them go from like a mid-tier SEC school to like the best one or one of the best is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
They got
yeah,
some
yeah.
good players.
Yeah. So look, so you watching the sports now, like you be like, yo, that his technique wrong. Do you be analyzing? Do you look? You be in the living room analyzing. Be like, yo, he got to use the wrong technique. He need to be doing this. That's how you
Yeah,
be doing
yeah.
that now.
No, I mean honestly, when I watch football, I just watch the O line, and I think
Yeah.
that's like an O line thing. Like I don't be watching other stuff. I just look at the O line.
So
Just
like,
look at the matchups, man. Because it's like I'm just like watching film again. So that's what
yeah.
I enjoy. But yeah, I still do that. I still watch the NFL. I'm like, man, I could do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Still watch it.
Yeah, man. Look, cause I be thinking about it, man. I be like, yo, I was like, O line, and interior linemen, interior D linemen, they they always get overlooked. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
those guys right there. People don't realize. I said y'all hit every play. Every play you making contact with somebody, but you get the least recognition.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We used to
And,
read this poem before our football games in high school. They essentially said that how we get, O linemen just get the least recognition. Like, man, they're even when I was in high school, man, people didn't understand like why all these coaches would come and see me. They're like, you don't catch no touchdowns, you know, you don't touch the ball. Why are these coaches want you, man? They don't get it. I'm like, man, nobody understands, offensive line. So that's why
Wait,
you got
they thought you was the water boy or something, man. Like
well, they was like, man, I don't understand why he's, getting recruited. Like, he don't do nothing in the games. I'm like, well, y'all just, I don't think y'all really know what offensive line is, man. They don't
golly.
get it.
Yeah, I hate that for you, man.
Oh no, I don't care. I don't care. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
need no recognition, man. I got God's recognition. I don't need nobody else.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And what you think about the NFL? Look, I know you say you was a basketball fan initially. What do you think about the NBA right now? Who you going for?
I mean, I'm LeBron fan, so I'm going for the Lakers.
You
I
going
think
for
it's
Lakers
crazy. I
quarterback?
think like right now we watching the NBA kind of shift. We're kind of seeing some of the stars that have been stars for the last 10 years is kind of shifting. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
You know, Warriors down 2-0-2,
yeah.
and then you got some of these new name guys who are, playing better than some of the old heads.
Yo, I haven't watched. I'm be honest. I don't watch basketball to the playoffs
No,
because
same
these
here.
jokers they take games off. They gonna get their rest time in. They getting all this stuff in, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch till it means something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I hadn't watched Sacramento play all year, and I watched Sacramento play. I was like, these boys are trouble.
yeah, yeah. No, same here. I'll be real. I was telling my dad that yesterday. I was like, man, since I've been alive, I can't remember the last time the Kings was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Since you've been alive, but yeah, like that night, like that 90. It was like the 98, 99. They had Chris Webber and them
Chris
guys.
Webber, okay,
Yeah,
these.
yeah. They was straight. Jason
I'm
Williams.
talking about like contenders though, not like
Yeah. Nah,
they were
they was actually, yeah, they was actually the
okay, okay,
yeah, they
okay.
was continued then. But but like I said, man, it's been some years though. But it's just like look, but it's just like football. I think athletes are becoming more they're becoming more, they're more athletes now compared
Yeah,
to back in the day. It was only like two or three elite athletes. Now it's hundreds of elite athletes. You know what I'm saying?
no, for sure, yeah,
And I because everybody try to compare a player from yesteryear to today's player. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's just like because of development and y'all just big. Y'all that look just from your
no,
age
yeah,
on up.
it's
These
bigger and
kids are
stronger,
huge.
yeah,
They're bigger,
no, yeah,
stronger, faster. Because
yeah.
it was one kid at the combine. He was a DN. He ran like a 4.8, 4.6 40. And I'm like, you rarely would see that. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. And
No, yeah. What's the guy's name? Refrigerator Perry,
yeah,
the big football player. I'm gonna see how big he was because
yeah, refrigerator
I
Perry.
know
Yeah, he was a big dude.
he was 6'2", 335. I think they say he was like the biggest guy in the NFL at the time,
Yeah, yeah.
or one of the bigger
One of
guys.
the
I'm
big
like,
guys,
man,
right.
there's plenty of dudes 330. I'm 320. Like it's plenty, So
Yeah.
like
It's a dime a dozen there.
it's different. It's different. It's different.
It's different. And like I said, I tell a lot of people they always want to compare it, but I'm like, it's like apples and oranges. You can't compare it because these kids, they're just big and strong and fast. And then the development, they're developing early. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids get recruited in the 8th grade, 7th grade, they get scholarships now. That was unheard of years
The
ago. You
kids
know
are
what I'm
training though. Like man, kids are
saying?
like even when I was in high school, I mean, some kids had trainers.
Yeah.
But man, like now, like kids, man, it's parents, man, they got their kids doing speed training, strength training
Yeah.
in 7th, 8th grade, man. I'm like, man, my dad like just go outside. Just go outside. Won't no training for me, man. It was
Hey, he
go
said just go
outside. Yeah,
out.
yeah. They got these kids eating bison and
Yeah.
elk and stuff. I was eating oatmeal. Like it's different for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
More
yeah.
emphasis.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I tell, I mean, I be looking at some of these kids and I be like, yo, what in the world y'all eating, man? It used to be rare, you can walk into a school, you might see one or two kids, 6'5", 6'6". Now it's just like the whole school about that tall. You know what I'm saying? You go out there, you know what I'm saying? Like the girls, the females, they're getting taller. And you're like, golly. So now I went to the state championship game. There's a kid from Charlotte. He was sophomore. He's 6'10". And I'm like, what?
Basketball player.
Yeah, basketball. And I'm like, what in the world? 15,
Crazy.
16 years old, 6'10". And I'm like,
Yeah.
it was a monster. And like I said, most kids, like when I was coming through, if they was that tall early, they wasn't coordinated.
It was goofy. Yeah.
Yeah, they was kind of, trying to figure out their body. Now these kids, they running up and down the court like they guards and they 6'10".
Yeah. No, yeah. No, things have changed, man. Athletes
Yeah,
are getting, like you said, they're becoming better athletes. They become more athletic.
yeah,
That's why when they have the debates, man, of like, who's the GOAT, I'm just like, look, man, Michael Jordan, I love Michael Jordan. I think he's a phenomenal player, and
yeah,
obviously, his brand is bigger than him.
yeah,
But you can't compare him and LeBron just from an
hmm,
athletic standpoint. Like it's not even comparable.
yeah,
There's stuff Michael Jordan did, people do every night,
right,
like down the NBA,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
athletically wise at least.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think, when it comes down to the mentality, I think, Jordan always plays with an edge on his shoulder. LeBron,
Yeah.
he that fun dude. And I think that's what a lot of people step him down because he ain't have that he doesn't have that edge. So that kind of shadows a lot of stuff. And him like because they talk about Kobe and Michael, they got that edge.
When people say LeBron had the edge, I'm like, man, yeah, I don't know. I have to disagree with that. Just
Yeah,
because we're talking about a competitor here. We're talking about a guy who
yeah,
puts
yeah, yeah,
his life, literally
yeah.
puts his life into this. So
Right.
how can y'all not say he don't have an edge just because he don't show it on his face or he's not
Yeah.
cussing people out?
and look,
He's
and
on
that's
that.
what people are accustomed to though. People are accustomed to I want that last shot. I want that, you know, I want
Well,
that killer, that like you said, that's how Kobe got the Mamba name. He was the killer, you know what I'm saying? So, I think that's the only thing that hurts LeBron. But numbers don't lie though. Numbers don't lie.
they don't. They don't. They don't. You can't deny that.
You can't
You
deny
can't
the
deny the
numbers.
numbers.
Like I said, I tell people all the time, say you can't deny the numbers. Whatever he did, hey, the numbers gonna be there. Once he long gone, the numbers gonna still be there.
I don't think anybody ever passed up LeBron as far as even like the scoring title. Nobody will ever get that.
No, no,
Nobody ever get
nah, nah, not the way these kids. Because I was looking at the league now, and 30, you old. You old in the NBA now. You know what I'm saying? At 30.
that.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I was looking at somebody yesterday. And they said they'd been out of the league for 15 years and they was like 40 years old. And I'm like, well, dad, you left the league when you was like 25. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
like, so you only, I'm like, you're gonna have a few players as, 37, but it's gonna be rare. I think 30, 33, because these boys they play so much basketball. And I think by the time they do get to the league, they about burn
They
out.
burnt out.
They
No,
about burn
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I tell anybody, you can't, from a fitness standpoint, you can't train the same muscles all the time. Like you said, you growing up, you played everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? These kids, once they get to
One
7, 8,
sport.
yeah, they want sport. And I'm like, then they get the, like you said, look, calf muscle tour, Achilles and stuff at early age. You like that stuff you would expect older people to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I saw an article about that, about athletes being burnt out.
mhm.
They were talking about Lonzo Ball. He has like this knee injury. He's been out for like a year
Yeah.
because of this knee injury, and they said it's due to like overuse with his
Wow.
knee. So
Yeah. Like I said, man, I think, I enjoy the kids getting prepped early, but parents out there, y'all need to let these kids, play some
let them
other
be kids.
sports. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Let them
yeah. Well, let the
play some
kids
other
be
sports.
kids.
Don't
Yeah.
kill them on the weekend. They become weekend warriors. They
Yeah.
they got these AAU tournaments and then they play school ball. You got to get their body some rest, man. I mean, I understand. And then I used to coach AAU ball, and it's crazy. It's crazy now, man. I'm like, y'all kids, they playing. It's like every week they gone somewhere. I'm like, they don't never get no rest.
No, when I had kids, it won't be like that for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy. Every weekend,
yeah,
you gotta let them rest, man.
yeah. You gotta let them
Especially while they're
rest.
growing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But yeah, man, look, I ain't gonna take up too much of your time, bro. I appreciate you coming on today. But
I appreciate you, man.
you got some you got a word for some young athletes out there, or some
Word.
parents. Yeah, the word for them, some positive message.
No, yeah, for sure. Not for the athletes, man. I would just say, just put your goals in front of you, man, and really dedicate yourself to them. That's one thing that I wish I would have done in high school was kind of, and college was kind of just eliminate the distractions around you, man. And distractions look different for everybody, whether it's girls or social life or social media,
Mhm,
whatever. Just kind of eliminate those distractions, man, and just put your goals in front of you, and you'll be happy at the end. So
mhm, mhm.
that's my advice to the young athletes.
Got you. Like, and to the parents, what would you suggest they do? They got a young athlete coming through the household, and starting to get the look. What would you suggest to try to help keep them
Yeah.
grounded? To
Yeah,
keep
not for sure, man. Just try as hard as you can to keep your kids humble, man. Humility is extremely important, and will both them to be successful in any arena. And also, I mean, just kind of value your kids outside of their athletic performance. I think a lot of parents, only see their kids as athletes or they had a good game, then they smile and then show them love. Show them love when they had a bad game or show them love when they got a bad grade or whatever. Just kind of value your kids, more than just them being good athletes. So,
Yeah, got you.
and
Hey,
that goes for parents and coaches. I think coaches need to. I think a lot of times people got to see the human before the athlete, and not vice versa. So,
right. Man, that's some good stuff right there. Because like you said, hey, you gotta take the good with the bad. You gotta take
yeah,
the wins with the
yeah,
losses. A lot of people,
not for sure, man, for sure.
because you ain't gonna win them all. But yeah, but like I said, man, I appreciate you, bro. Look, we'll link up later on. Look, I see you later on this week at the gym, so probably.
Not for sure. Yeah, I'll be at the gym in like hours. So, yeah,
Yeah. Like I said, I'm glad you took the time out and shared your little insight, man. Because I think it's beneficial to a lot of people, man, and let people see athlete from a different light, because all thing when they see him on the field, all they see is you a warrior, don't realize you can articulate, you can talk, you know what I'm saying? You know how
oh,
you
yeah, yeah.
and it's a thing, man. It's like people, they think y'all robots. You know what I'm saying?
No,
When
for sure. Yeah,
you think you like, or look, people think you playing what's that, Madden or something,
yeah, yeah, man, yeah. No,
They
you're right.
think
You're right.
y'all just robots and put together, but you do have thought process and can articulate and talk and understand what's really going on in the world besides just what's on the field and what goes through you while you're on the field. You know what I'm saying? And when you, like you said, outside of that, you got a life too. You just like, it's not about sports. Sports gonna end one day. You got to remember that. So you try to keep a life outside of that. And
No,
like
yeah,
you
for
said,
sure.
yeah,
You
man.
gotta
But
find yourself. That's another thing I'll add to the athletes, man. Find yourself outside your sport too, because like you said, eventually that ball gonna stop dribbling. You're not gonna put the helmet on again, and so you got to know who you are and what value you bring outside of just your athletic value. So,
yeah. Got you, man. Hey, look, appreciate you, bro. Look, till next time, I'm gonna have you back up here again. And
for sure, man.
get some of your boys, man. We'll chop it up one day. Get some of your
Oh
boys.
no, man, yeah, just
When the
let me
league
know.
is, yeah. We
Just let
can
me
we
know.
can
I can get
chop
a
it
couple
up.
guys on here. Just let me
Yeah,
know.
Like I said, man. Look, and maybe one day we could go live and like let them ask y'all some questions. You know what I'm saying? Especially
For sure.
some of the young kids. But like I
That'd be
said, all right, peeps. Until next time, it's your boy Real Charlemagne. Hey, it's good show, man. I appreciate this dude, man. Hey, he been a bright light in my life since I met him. And he always humble, man. He always like ask me how I'm feeling and everything, man. But hey, continue to be a blessing to others, bro. And that's my word to
Appreciate
you. Continue to be a
Thank you.
blessing to others. All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Till next time, people. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.